Hey guys, how you doing? It's Hal from Broad Culture, and today I'm here with Jack Ram Lethal, one of West Virginia's technical bright stars coming up. Right now, we're at the UWA show beforehand, and so Jack, how long have you been a wrestler?
Um, I've been training for years and years, but as far as actually working matches and doing things like that, I'm pushing on 2 years now. So, yeah, just you know, still getting my feel for how wrestling works, but overall, I'm confident in my ability and I can wrestle a good match.
Is this 2 years with training, or is this 2 years actually been in,
No,
being in the ring?
2 years is just strictly me being in the ring wrestling. The time I put into training, I couldn't even tell you. I had to take a small hiatus for a while due to my regular job and everything. And, you know, all that accumulated time and everything, I dedicated just strictly to trying to figure out wrestling. But as far as just in ring time, it's been about 2 years now.
Okay. One of the questions we like to ask people when we get on this channel is, what are some of the biggest influences that made you want to do this? Who, like, favorite wrestlers? What kind of motivated you into becoming Mr. Ram?
Right. When it comes to influences, as far as people that have influenced me, wrestling wise, I was always really inspired by like guys like Diamond Dallas Page. As weird as that is, a lot of people I don't think give him enough credit. He was a really good wrestler. Even as a kid, like I resonated with him. Sting. I was a really WCW kid for my age. It's kind of weird, but yeah, Diamond Dallas Page. He was just an inspiration. He started in this business a little bit older than what most people do, but even then, he was still a huge success. He made a name for himself. He held a title in one of the top companies in the world. Um, Outside of that, you got guys like Sting, who just everything about him was so off the wall and just so entertaining to watch. The Undertaker, again, just really entertaining, really fun to watch in the ring. Um, as I've got older, I tend to grow more toward these guys that I don't know. I just appreciate their wrestling more than their gimmick and the way they perform. Kenny Omega, he's a good example. Bret Hart, I've learned to really appreciate Bret Hart a lot more as I've got older because you watch those guys in the ring and it's just so. It's easy to watch as a fan. It's very entertaining, but the wrestling is on like another level, another caliber that you're just not going to see most other places.
With the wrestling being on another caliber, uh, things have to stick out to you. So,
Right.
what is one of the biggest moments in wrestling that has stuck out to you?
See, that's really weird because when I think about big moments in wrestling, one that I don't hear people talk about too much. When I was a kid, again, I was a huge WCW kid. My dad had these old school recorded like VCR tapes, um, and it was one of the Great American Bashes for WCW, and it was Sting versus Vampiro in a Human Torch match. And I don't know why people don't talk about this as much, but like just that visual of spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen that match, the visual of Sting being set on fire and thrown off a Titantron, like that always stood out to me as a kid, and I was just always like, like that's where wrestling really captivates you is you never really know what's going to happen, and that moment has always stood out to me because it was so surreal, so unreal. It was just amazing. It was incredible. Just something that I had never seen anywhere else other than professional wrestling. So that's one of my big standout moments.
Interesting. No, I can definitely appreciate that kind of moment. Those big, spot heavy moments. It just really captivates the audience or captivates anybody at that point.
Right.
Um, as I said earlier in the beginning of the intro, you are a technical style. Am I correct?
I'd say I'm technical, yeah.
How would you define it?
Um, I wrestle very UK style. I throw a lot of strikes. I do a lot of very mat-based stuff. Not to say I can't dive or that I don't dive. It's just my preferred style. I like to throw holds. I like to do a few strikes here and there, and then just really, when I throw a big move, it's impactful. So it's just that's my style. Best way
I
to
like
put
it.
it. Yeah.
Uh, Two questions in one here. What is the biggest goal you want to have as your person? And what is the biggest goal you want to have is in terms of like your career?
In terms of career and as a person, my goal stays the same. My goal with this is to grow with this company and be as big as I possibly can be, no matter where I go, who I'm with, no matter what's going on. My goal with wrestling remains the same, and it is to be the very best that I can be.
I appreciate that. Out of all the people who you've wrestled through either UWA or AEW, any other corporations you've been with before?
AEW.
Yeah, AEW boys. I'm sorry. ASW. Sorry.
That's a joke.
Who's your favorite opponent that you like to go against?
My favorite opponent, that is a tough one. But if I had to pick, I'd honestly say Rocky Rage by far. Me and him have had some great work. We've put on some good matches. He's been my favorite so far as someone to work with.
Out of all the locations you've wrestled, what's your favorite location?
So far in the time that I've been around, like the building we're in currently, the Quantum Sports Center in Herkin, West Virginia. So just nice building, good luck.
It is a nice building. I'm looking around right now, and it is pretty big.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of space, got a lot of room, so you don't hit your head if you're like we were in the fire department in Milton.
Right.
It was pretty low.
Right.
Well, what has been your favorite match you've performed? You said your favorite wrestler was Rocky Rage, but is there any particular
My
match
favorite
that
opponent
you look
is
back?
Rocky Rage. Favorite match so far. International Combat Sports, 7, Agent Orange. Me and Rocky Rage, we went out there, we did some stuff that I don't normally do. Really fast-paced match. Just really good match. Like, good competition, just, it was really me stepping up to the next level. It made me perform at a level that I don't normally perform at, and I enjoyed it.
I'm sure the fans enjoyed it too.
Yeah, fingers crossed that I get to keep doing it and keep performing at the level I do like that. But yeah, the fans definitely had a good time that night. We sent everybody home happy.
Do you have any words of encouragement for people who have yet to start their wrestling careers and maybe looking forward to getting involved? You know, maybe just need that little extra push or...
I am not anybody to speak about wrestling. I don't feel that I've been around long enough to actually talk about what to do as far as wrestling. I can only speak on my personal experiences, and that's it. I can't tell you anything about wrestling. I can only tell you what I've experienced.
Okay.
My number one bit of advice to anybody who wants to be a wrestler is to just start training. If it's what you want to do, get involved, do it, find a way, make it happen. But like, that is always going to be the first step, is finding a way to make this happen. Again, I can't tell you how to make wrestling work. I'm still learning wrestling myself. But as far as anybody wanting to do this and to step up, understand that's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hours away from home. You're missing out on a lot. But if it's something you want to do, you have to take that initiative. You have to understand where your line is, what you're willing to do for it, and to step up and do it.
Well, thank you, Bram, for joining us here today at Broad Culture. Do you want to tell the fans where they can find you?
Normally you can find me anywhere within, Ohio, West Virginia, just in that general area. UWA is my home. I grew up here. I came up in this business with UWA. International Combat Sports, All-Star Wrestling, ASW, West Virginia. And if there's anything I'm forgetting, those are just my standouts off the top of my head. And if I think of anything else, honestly, I would say it, but those are my 3 main companies. That's where I came up in this company, so that's definitely where you can find me.
Do you got a Twitter?
No, I don't have a Twitter. I'm still old school. I need to make one of those.
Hey,
Well, that's no problem at all. Well, Jack, thank you for coming in today.
Not a problem, anytime.
This is Broad Culture. I'm Hal, and see you next time.